Welcome to the Heart Talk podcast, coming to you every Monday, 10 p.m. from Heart Knocks Training Center, Malaysia. I'm your host, Samuel, and we are joined today by KH. Hi, KH.
Hi.
Lovely to have you on the podcast.
Yes, good again. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Oh, I've got a word for our listeners. Once again, you are very, very welcome to share your thoughts, your learnings, your questions in the comments below. Leave them and KH will see them,
Yes.
I promise. And he will attempt to answer all the questions that you have.
No, it's okay. I'm a lawyer. I know everything. I got all the answers.
All right. You heard it here first, folks. So today I wanted to just pick your brain about one of our other offerings in Hard Knocks, which is the DYC, Discovering Your Child, right?
Okay.
So first of all, the name doesn't quite roll off the tongue, DYC, Discovering Your Child, but why that?
Okay. It started as a parenting workshop.
Oh, okay.
Now, how boring can you get with a name like that?
Yeah.
Initially, I thought maybe should have another name because parenting workshop is kind of like accusatorial.
Sounds very stuffy as well.
It's like, why? What's wrong with my parenting?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was one reason. But the other reason, and this is more of a substance, more substantial,
Right.
is that the focus on what the parent does is actually not as important as the focus on what the child is about. So,
Wow. Okay.
So the emphasis is not about the parent doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, all parents want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But it is the missing out on seeing who the child is, what the child is, and hence discovering your child is the best approach to parenting.
Wow. Interesting. What does that mean? You said just now, right, that it's something about shifting the focus from doing the right thing as a parent to who my child is. What does that mean?
So it's paradoxical. In fact, all parents try their best.
Yeah.
And by a parent trying harder to do the right thing, sometimes they miss out on what the child needs. Right.
Okay.
So the emphasis in I got to do the right thing as opposed to what's happening with my child.
Right.
Right. So a lot of the time we don't see children as people. They're children.
Right.
So if they try to help around in the house, you're too young. Right? Mommy will do it for you or daddy will do it for you. You don't interfere, you're too young. When you get older. So for us, a child is not a person until they are 18. Almost. that until then, they are a thing. They are something we look after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to a person in themselves.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So there's a famous quote we use in the training, or we put in as part of the brochure, is we forget that children are people. Not in those words, but basically, yeah. We worry about how a child will turn out when they grow up.
Yeah.
But we forget that the child is a person now.
Yeah, I see.
So discovering your child is actually to reverse that loss of focus. That it's not about doing the right thing. If you are not seeing where your child is. So you could be doing the right thing, but your child is not there. It may not be the right thing given where your child is right now. Although by all standards, you are doing your best.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's about being present with my child. Am I seeing them as they are right now?
That's right. That's part of it.
Meeting them where they are?
Yes. So, for example, if a child acts out, misbehave, acts out, you could look on it as child acting out, therefore do this.
Yeah. Like how am I going to solve the situation?
How am I going to solve the situation? It's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a situation. Whereas when a child acts out, it is because they want to express something they have no words for. And it's not just children who haven't learned to talk. Even children who learn to talk, they just can't express their feelings in words. They haven't found the words, so they act it out. So when a child acts out, what happens is they are trying to make you feel what they feel.
Like to connect in that.
No, that's the way to communicate.
To show you this is how I'm feeling.
This is how I'm feeling. So when a child acts out and you check in how you feel, that's how the child feels.
Whoa.
So it's a communication. It's not a nuisance. It's not trouble.
So what? So the key, like, if I want to understand how children feel,
they're trying to make you feel what they feel.
What? Okay. I'm listening.
So we see the behavior. We don't see the child.
Yeah.
We seldom ask what's going on with the child.
Yeah.
We just see, keep quiet.
Yeah.
Or whatever we respond to.
Yeah, don't be like
do
that.
The behavior, but we don't get it, what they're trying to show us.
Wow. Okay.
Applies to couples too.
Thank you for that.
So when your spouse acts out, it's like, what's he or she trying to make me feel? That's how they feel.
Thank you for that. Very useful tip. Oh, wow. So like, I parented my my little brother, my baby brother, because he was
big
age gap. Yeah, we have a 14-year age gap. So he was born when I was 14. And just I remember the experience of like I'm always trying to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like when he's throwing a tantrum or whatever, like
you want to stop the tantrum.
I want to stop the tantrum. I want to like solve the problem or even get through to him.
Because he has to stop, right?
Yeah. But then it's what you're saying, from what you're saying, like actually, if I check in with myself and if I check in with like what is happening with the feelings that he's creating, right? Then actually like that could be the key to like getting
what's going on.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. How did you start?
It's like if you take all those movies where kung fu movies where the hero wants to take revenge.
Okay, yeah.
That Chinese word 报仇.
Yes, yeah.
Revenge is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
What do you think he's doing? You killed my father. I'm going to kill your father now, so you know how it feels.
So you know how it
feels. That anger, that violence, is actually from the child.
The child inside the hero, inside the person. Okay, yeah, I see that.
That's why it sounds so just, sounds so true, sounds so the right thing to do. Yeah, but it's actually an expression of trying to make you feel what I feel.
Wow.
So that's why when there's an apology, it can be resolved. Because that person, when you acknowledge how the child feels, they keep quiet.
When you acknowledge how the child feels, okay.
If you get it, how they're feeling, and if you acknowledge, they see that you see how they feel, it resolves the issue.
Right. Because you get me, right? So I don't need to.
That's right. You don't get me, so I keep going.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And you keep trying to stop me, right?
Yeah.
No, I keep going because you don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one aspect of seeing the child.
Amazing.
We don't see them.
Sign up for the UIC, guys. Wow. Okay. So how did you come up with the training? You said that it originated from the parenting workshop.
Yes.
Or a parenting workshop?
Yeah. We had a trainer named Bill Dean.
Yeah.
He's sadly passed on.
Yeah.
And he had years and years of working with young people.
Okay.
And with parents.
Okay.
A lot of the years he spent with parents of teenage children. And then at one time he started a home for troubled teens. So he was the one who conducted a parenting workshop. It was like a weekend.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then there were 2 follow-up evenings. So he took me under his wing and he trained me to do the parenting workshop.
Okay.
Then he certified me. In the course of doing that with him, I introduced a couple of things that he found quite useful, that he approved of. One of them was the who's doing the talking. That's a different workshop.
Yeah.
I introduced that. He liked it. And then he said, okay, you're certified. And then after COVID, after the shutdown and so on, he passed away. Not from COVID. He passed away from, I think, cancer. And then when I picked it up again, I had to do it online because it was the lockdown.
Oh, yeah. So we are all the online trainings. Yeah.
So I did kind of like a series of a few sessions. It evolved into what it is today. So today it's an orientation, which is one evening. That's in person.
Okay.
And then after that, followed by 5 Mondays. And the reason why we say Monday and online is because a lot of time the challenge for parenting workshop for parents is that they can't get away.
Yeah.
So by doing it online on Monday evenings, parents can stay at home and with their children and still learn. And Monday, because if you ever work in a company before, they don't come down on you on Monday. Things build up, and then on Wednesday you get buried in work. But Monday you still got a little bit of leeway. So Monday evening we thought would be the best for working parents. And then we would have 5 Monday evenings, about 3 hours each.
Yeah. Okay.
The important thing is it doesn't take like 10 hours to learn. 3 hours we can get a lot of work done, experientially and also teaching. Then in between we give them assignments to actually practice with their children, so that then they report the results back back in the next session on Monday, and that makes it real. Right. So and then after that we have graduation, another in-person event after the 5th evening. So it's kind of like 7 sessions.
Awesome.
We space them a week apart, and that gives time to actually put into practice. Which we thought which worked well actually, because they can stay at home, no need to find babysitter, and still get something done. Yeah. So it evolved into that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And the emphasis also now, Bill Dean gave a lot of practices which which remains the same. That there are certain things parents must put into practice. So it sounds like work, but it is a discipline. Discipline in the sense of a system of doing things that has your child connect with you. So the important thing is that connection. A child naturally connects to the parent. And if you're a smart parent, you would use that connection to take care of, to handle your child.
See that?
And parents who punish kill that connection. Then they have no end of trouble after that, because then they have no hold on the child. Because the child is not looking to you anymore. The child is frightened of you. So punishment is one of those things that actually threatens that connection. So because it threatens that connection, the child will comply, but doesn't feel connected.
Yeah.
Because they don't lose you, but they're not getting you. But you look as if they're obeying.
Yeah. So the result
that's not connection. That's compliance.
Wow.
So the key is connection, and for a parent to connect with the child, you got to be able to see the child, hear the child, and be able to trust the child.
See the child, hear the child, trust the child. Wow.
And then when you do that, then the child will want you to teach them, and they will want you to be with them.
Wow. Sounds like one of those things easier said than done, you know. Sounds so simple, like gotta see.
I mean, it sounds it sounds kind of like so easy, right?
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's not easy. But you'll be surprised how much progress you can make just by that distinction alone. Because if a child is connected with you, they'll do what you say.
So that's the key.
That's the key.
Interesting.
You want a child to tell you the truth? If they're connected with you, they'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
If you're not connected in the sense that you don't like to hear what you don't like to hear, then the child says, "Oh, they don't want to hear this, so I tell them something else." The child will cater to you. If you don't want to hear bad news, they will only give you good news, and they keep the bad news to themselves.
Yeah.
If you remember as a child, you don't want to give bad news to your parents because there are consequences, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't want my dad to punish me.
Correct. You don't want to be scolded. You don't want to be nagged.
Yeah.
So you don't bring up trouble stuff.
Yeah. I definitely identify with that. Yeah.
Yes, and that brings up another point. The reason again why we say discovering a child is because you have to do something different. Everyone already knows how to be a parent.
Do we?
Of course you do. That's why Parenting Workshop 04, I already know what to do, because you already know how you were parented, and that's exactly how you parent your child. Do you not realize when with your younger brother, you became your dad?
I say the same thing
as your dad, and your mom.
Yeah.
And you go there, oh, it's me and my mom. I'm being mom or dad.
Yeah.
It's automatic. Now, if that works, fine. But if you want to re-examine it, then you got to break that automatic. The automatic is so deeply ingrained, you don't realize it. There are moments when you catch yourself and, oh my God, I sound like my mom.
When I'm aware from
it. So the focus on the child helps to shift that automatic.
Not what am I doing right, but what's happening here. What's happening with them?
You don't even you say, well, what else is there to do? I mean, he's misbehaving. I need to scold him, and you do that without thinking.
Yeah.
Not wrong. That's the way the human race goes on.
Yeah, indeed. So how is... Well, I wanted to ask how DYC is different from other parenting workshops, but already there's such a distinction. Like with the parenting workshops that I know of, at least, it's very much it's methodology and like different schools of thought on like here's how when a child does this, that's what they mean. So as a parent, here's how you respond. A lot of technique, a lot of like when scenario A, then this is your response, that kind of thing. How do you present the DYC as? I mean, is there still that kind of methodology and?
Well, you see.
Is that a tricky question?
Yeah. The connection with the child solves a lot of problems.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
First of all, the child desires connection. It's called attachment. And with that attachment, you can have the child learn a lot of things. You can teach, you can instruct, you can tell the child to do things, and they will do it. They look to you. They actually look to you. can't think why they should disobey you. So whatever happens to a child, naughty and all that, sometimes the parent got to start taking ownership of the results they create. If the child is tabula rasa, empty slate, then everything that the child turns out to be is from the parents' input.
Right? From the environment,
Unless you believe in those movies that the child was born evil.
Right.
But they actually, so nature creates that connection and that desire for connection, that if you're wise about it, you would use it, you would enhance it, and you maintain that connection.
Wow.
Yeah. So the 5 weeks, the 5 sessions or the 7 sessions are designed for us to build that connection.
Wow. That sounds so hopeful is the word that comes to mind for me. It's like, it's not just like, okay, like I learned this theory and like how I should respond, but it's the feeling I get is like, oh, I'm getting right to the core, right to the foundation of what this relationship between me and my child is about. And it sounds very possible. It sounds very much like, okay, like I think I can do this.
So the question may be, why doesn't it happen in real life?
Yeah.
Now that's because we are so concerned. So there are a couple of ways. There are 2 perspectives on life, and a bigger perspective out there is survival. So when you regard your child, you look at it and say, my God, I better make my child study. Because if they don't study, they won't get ahead in life. And then they'll starve to death and whatever.
Prepare them.
Prepare them. So I have to be hard on them. But that's not true. The world is already hard enough on them. And they don't have to learn. Learning hardness doesn't mean they can handle hardness.
Wow.
You want to be strong from the inside so that whatever happens, they're okay. And you don't do that by, making them go through what you went through or what you're going through, because they're not ready for it.
Right.
And they don't have to be ready for it.
How come?
They just need to grow. Because people, and especially children, are resourceful. So you want to train them not in knowledge, but in resourcefulness, because resourcefulness enables them to meet any situation. Knowledge only allows them to meet the situation that knowledge prepares them for.
That's right.
So you want, so if you look at the kind of child you want, you want these characteristics. You want them to be resourceful, persistent, patient, all those qualities. Then they can face life. But sometimes what prevents us from doing that is our protective instinct. We want to insulate them, and so I don't mean you expose them to danger. I mean you want to cultivate those inner qualities. And that takes a different approach from panic, fear, what if.
What's the approach then? What's the, instead of starting from, I'm afraid that this XYZ would happen, and I see this happening in the world, and I want to prepare them for that, and I want to make sure that if it happens, that they can do something about it, or they can survive it, or they can, go through that. Instead of that, what's the alternative?
They will go through that and withstand that depending on their inner resources, who they are. So you want to cultivate character. You can't possibly teach them behavior that will solve all the problems. But you can, so it's like, children are not pieces of furniture for you to shape like a carpenter. They are like plants that grow. A farmer doesn't know how a plant grows. But he knows how to do it so that the plant grows well. So what you want is to engender the growth.
Okay.
Grow into sturdy, strong, all the qualities you think you need to face those dangers that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
And so the focus is therefore discover your child so you know how to have them grow, not new methods. So we have methods, but the methods all come back to who is your child, what they're like, what is really happening there. So you address what's happening rather than try and create your own assurance that it's okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So the 5 parts. One is, can you see me?
Okay.
So these are imaginary pleas from the child.
Right.
The child is there. Can you see me?
Mm.
And a lot of parents don't see their children.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see them for what they are. That's why they are dismissive with the best intentions.
Yeah.
Let me take care of you.
Yeah.
Why are you fussing? Don't worry. Whereas the child says, hey, what about me?
Yeah.
So first one, do you see your child? Do you hear your child? If you don't hear your child, you might punish your child. So that's where we talk about punishment. You don't hear them. They act up, you don't hear what they're trying to tell you. Remember I said what they're trying to make you feel, what they're trying to convey, you don't hear them. And you don't hear them by just words, you hear them by the feelings. Hear in the big sense of the word.
Right.
Get it. Do you get me? And if you don't get them, then you will just be dismissive, you misunderstand, and the child is there, say, I don't know any other way of getting through to you, and you are just angry at me. Right?
Yeah.
So if you don't hear them, you will mistreat them, or you would not mistreat, you would not be doing the appropriate thing in response to them. That means you're not responding to them appropriately. And a lot of times the inappropriate response is to punish, is to suppress, is to make them behave. So that's the second one. Can you hear me? And can you tell me? In other words, can you take me into confidence? Can you trust me? No, you're too young. But he wants to learn. But if you don't tell, then they may never say, will you teach me? Because you're the source of shut up, teach me.
Yeah.
But when you're not, then maybe the next one is, will you teach me? And that's your great opportunity.
Wow.
And the last one is, will you grow with me? Will you be with me? Or you go to school, or be with them as they grow. And that means you have to grow too. Otherwise, you notice a lot of grown-up children.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk to their elderly parents because the parents haven't caught up with the new world.
Yeah.
I don't mean technology and all that, but grow in the sense of maintain the curiosity about life and about them. So these 5 things. Can you see me first? So we talk to parents in the training. We say, do you see your children? So we give some exercises and some practices. Then the next one is, can you hear them? Can you hear me? And then we have some practices around that too, so that you truly hear them. Because these, and the one, can you tell me, can you trust me? Can you tell me things? Now, if you do all these 3, right, if you do all these 3, and discover your child, what's the need for these 3 things, if you answer these 3 calls from your child, then you will have that connection, and then they will ask you to teach them and be with them. Otherwise, my parents are, nuisance. Just as children are nuisance to parents, the parents are nuisance to children sometimes. Like, I can't do anything about it. Yeah. So that's why it's discovering your child from seeing, hearing, and trusting.
Thanks, KH. Well, a question might come up is from other parents is like, well, the way that I was taught to parent, that works for me. And like, I'm okay, right? Like,
if you're happy with what you got, then it's okay. Nothing offer you.
Right.
Yeah.
Would DYC be like, is DYC better Or rather, to poke a little bit, like, is it really? Can it offer me anything else than what I, already know?
Um,
That was a mischievous question, but
no, it's no, we're not the moral guardians of parents.
yeah, I see.
Okay. But if you want to optimize or you want more from the relationship with your child, then discovering your child would be a great first step.
I see that.
And
If I want
and
more from the
also,
relationship,
if you want to be more effective and make life easier for yourself, this can help you. It's easier with discovering your child.
Can parenting really be easy?
Easier.
Easier.
Because normal parenting, doing the right thing, is makes it more difficult than necessary. One good example. Mommy, can I help? Or Daddy, can I help? No, you're too young. Then when they're 12 years old, can you help me with this? I'm busy with my game. When they were willing, you didn't take them in. How do you expect that we think that children are at our beck and call? But when they're willing, and if they start doing things with you when they're young, when they're willing, and they're learning as they participate in your life, then you get a better chance of doing things together as they grow up. Because teenagers, if they don't connect with the parents, and this is from a guy named Dr. Gabor Mate.
Oh yeah, Gabor Mate.
Gabor Mate wrote a book called Hang On to Your Kids. And he says, if you are not the person they can talk to, then they will stop listening to you. They'll listen to their peers.
Wow.
Yeah. So that book is pretty alarming and helpful at the same time. Hang on to your kids. Otherwise you lose them. And parents complain, I'm losing them. They're not listening to me. They're on their games and all that. They listen to their friends, of course.
Yeah.
How have you listened to them such that they'll listen to you? There's another book called How to Listen to Kids So That They Listen to You, or How to Talk to Kids So They Listen. And how to listen so that they can talk. Otherwise, they won't tell you. So, and the key to that is that connection. Which means the easy way of parenting, so-called easy way, is to do what you think is right. Because you were brought up that way, you would just be your mom and dad.
Yeah.
And who's to say that's wrong? But if you want to have an easier life and a more fulfilling, then you would do the connection and discover your child first. I don't want to sound smart, but that connection really brings you forward in a very big way. And my experience with the workshop is that the participants get very excited, and so the feedback, and I rely on the feedback, is that it's effective when they connect with the child. So much so that a word has cropped up in the circle called, I learned to be a lazy parent.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Lazy parent.
Yeah. So, and all sorts of issues are solved. Like the child doesn't want to take a shower until late at night or whatever. If you're patient and discover your child, you find that the child will, of their own accord, do what you want them to do. They want to do what you want them to do. But only if they get it that you get them.
Wow.
If you imagine yourself as a child, that is what was happening, right? If you think about it. If my mom or dad understands my homework, I'll do it. If all they want is do your homework, then I'll dig my heels in later.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because they only want me to do my homework. They don't take an interest in it. If they but ask, how is your homework? How are you getting on? Or are you finding any difficulty? If they ask after me, I would be a lot less resistant. So we create a lot of resistance with kids when we don't see them, we don't hear them, and we don't trust them. So basically, discovering your child is parenting practices that work.
What is it about that the practices that people are saying like this is like it's like I'm being a lazy parent? So what you said, like the feedback you've gotten is that like some people are saying like lazy
because they are surprised, as you said earlier. Can it be easier? So they found yes, it's easier, and therefore they feel I don't have to work so hard because so doing the hard thing and doing the right thing are two different. Doing something that works and working hard are two different things. They don't necessarily match. Yeah.
But less effort, less
unnecessary effort, because we think it takes effort because that's what we inherited from our culture, our own parents, our upbringing, our cultural background, family background.
Interesting. You also said that the model, or maybe I'm mishearing you, that the model works for couples as well, something like that?
Oh, that's just the acting up.
The acting up? Yeah. As in, if my other half acts up,
you should stop and not just get upset, but what is it he or she is trying to make me feel? Then maybe you get an inkling of what's going on there. Because we act up because I want you to feel something. You're not listening to me or whatever.
I see it. I get it. Okay. So I see it in my relationship, like when my girlfriend is acting a certain way, or like when we get into arguments, or when I do it as well, like something is missing for her or for me, that that we're acting that way and behaving that way. Like, okay.
You're trying to get a message through.
Yeah. I didn't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
That's why I did it that way. Or what?
All right.
So it's the same with children. The same with us.
Same with some of the violence in the world.
Because they don't know how.
Cut me in traffic. Let me show you how I feel. I'll cut in front of you. I'll slow down. I force you to brake because that's what you did to me.
Yeah, make your life really difficult.
So the anger and the misbehavior comes from that. Then if the other person said, "Sorry, I get what you feel," that's it. It disperses everything. Acknowledgement.
Wow.
That's why Nelson Mandela was smart.
What do you mean?
Conciliation, truth and conciliation, so that the violence of the past doesn't get carried forward.
Right.
They hear it out, they say it, they acknowledge it, and then it ends there. That's why you can never have peace. There is one occasion I saw that a politician actually resolved a lot of deep-seated hate and violence. And that is by conciliation, by speaking the truth, by speaking out, by acknowledging it. It's not even asking for forgiveness. It is like, at last, someone hears how I feel.
Yeah. At last, there's someone who gets
me.
Yeah. That's what I'm going through.
Yeah. So teenagers who have difficult behavior, they are trying to communicate something.
Just didn't know how to say it.
Yeah. And we don't know how to hear it.
And we don't know how to hear it. Yeah.
So that's the key, I think. Oh, well, that's one of the keys.
Yeah.
That we don't see the other person. So that that African Sawubona, I see you. I read about it in a book very, very long time ago. And it's a fantastic greeting. I see you.
I see. Oh wow. That just brought back a memory for me for uh I'm blanking on it now. The other training that I did with you online, which is winning conversation,
Oh, okay.
where you describe how when a member of the tribe has committed a very severe
Yeah.
crime
Right.
or felony, right? When if the only option left is to cast them out, everybody in the tribe
They turn their back.
Yeah, they turn their back on the person.
And that has devastating results.
Mm.
Sometimes the person just die in a few weeks because there's nobody for them.
No connection.
That's a story I heard. I'm not sure how far it's true.
Right. It's connection.
It's from one of the books written by a man named Lawrence Vanderpost. He wrote about the Kalahari Desert. He wrote a lot about the Bushmen.
Right.
But this ICU come from what I understand is the Bantu people. But you can Google it. From the Bantu tribes.
I probably will. The Bantu tribes, okay.
So ICU is, can you see me? That's the primary one. That if I exist for you, then we have a connection.
If I exist for you, what does that mean? To me, whether the other exists to me. Okay, got it.
Or they see me.
It's a connection. Sounds very fundamental.
It is, yes. That's the key. I'm not original on this. Gabo Mate says it.
Yeah.
And Gabo Mate has seen a lot of maladjusted people in his years and years of practice as a doctor. And he writes about it. So connection with your child is the most important. And from there, you can build a lot. If you are trying to force the behavior, then you miss out on the connection. So a lot of parents with the best intentions end up by default, because we are brought up that way, focus on behavior rather than the person and the character.
Amazing. It sounds, to me anyway, it's like that's one of the connection. It's one of the things that parents really long for with their children. And of course, children long for their parents.
That's the irony of it.
Yeah.
They want it so bad, they work so hard for it, and then they actually do they have the opposite effect.
Well, we're running out of time today, but just to wrap up, if you were to use one word to describe I guess your experience, or maybe what value, if you could wrap it up in one word, what value DYC has, or your experience of it, what would it be?
Connection. You knew that was coming.
Yeah, I knew that I was coming. Yeah, should have.
Because that is the most precious thing, and if you have that, then a lot of things can grow from there. It's just to discard all the dry leaves and get to the shoot.
Get to the root of it, right?
So it's unlearning.
Yeah, I see that now. Unlearning the pattern.
The default, yeah.
Thank you so much, KH.
You're most welcome. I'm very happy to be able to talk about this.
Happy to facilitate the conversation. And thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Heart Talk podcast. See you again next Monday. Let your heart do the talking. Bye. Bye.